Time flies, nothing's off the table since my last regeneration. I'm a bit unstable. Bombast, I need to prove my mettle, so I'm dragging Peri off to someplace dreadful. It's Draconda, or Telos, or Shoreditch, or this place.
Hello and welcome to the quick guide to Big Finish Classic Who, Peri Part 2. In case you missed the earlier videos, I'm going by companions because for most classic Doctors, Big Finish didn't have series and the stories tended to jump around each Doctor's timeline, and as far as I can tell, there's no official, authoritative, agreed upon timeline for adventures. So I've separated them out by companion. Hopefully it'll make things easier for everyone, and make it harder for me to miss any stories. I'm assuming you've already seen part 1 of my Peri videos. If not, then know that she got menaced by sound waves, hung out with an irritating pig, met Laika the space dog, narrowly avoided marrying Henry VIII, and swore.
Okay, we're
She's had an eventful trap. After the space race, Peri's next main range appearance with Six was in Breaking Bubbles and other stories. The Doctor Who wiki says they're on the theme of perception, but I can't see it myself. The first story is Breaking Bubbles, a fun little holodeck romp, where the TARDIS materializes inside a prison that looks like a palace, and accidentally get embroiled in its sole occupant's escape attempt. She's the deposed Empress of a galactic empire. It's not the usual evil Empress set to cause havoc kind of deal. She's personable and gives up multiple opportunities to kill people.
Now hang on a minute, we didn't...
Regulations regarding stowaways on Imperial prison transports are clear. Summary execution.
Sondra, this is not
They're from Imperial Intelligence, you fools.
The Doctor, he's still with those 2 prison guards.
I'm sure he's fine. People tend to get very paranoid at the mention of Imperial Intelligence.
We're not intelligence agents.
I know.
Then why did you say we were?
I didn't want to see you killed on my account.
You get the impression that, although imperfect, she was probably a better ruler than the guy replaced her.
Hey, this book's about you.
Ah, yes. That one was published during my cousin's second reign. Propaganda to discredit me.
Oh, what's it doing in your library?
It's important to know what your enemies think of you, and what they want other people to think of you.
Even the unflattering things?
Especially the unflattering things.
It sounds like you started a lot of wars.
I started one war, Peri. It just went on rather a long time. All I want is my freedom.
Is that all? Or are you going to start another war once you're out of here?
You don't know my cousin. So long as he can squander his days devising fanciful entertainments, he leaves the actual ruling to his officials. And all they're concerned with is accumulating wealth and power.
Of course. You're not at all interested in those things.
Anyway, there's some clever plans and counter-plans involving the holographic prison. You see, it's on a spaceship that's ferrying her to a new planetary prison, and in her escape attempt, she recreates the actual ship inside the prison to trick the guards.
There's something not quite right about all this.
Isn't that what you're meant to be fixing?
No, that's not what I mean. This computer system of yours isn't locked down. It isn't there. There's a very complicated lockout, but no actual system underneath. It's like this computer is just an empty box.
Don't be ridiculous. The lights are on, the oxygen's flowing. If we got no computer, how is everything still working?
Oh, that's a very good question.
My game's gone.
What?
I left it there. There's a cube about the size of my hand, lots of flashing lights.
It was new, this game?
Yeah.
You'd only just brought it on board?
So?
Of course. It's the one detail she wouldn't know about.
What are you talking about?
This isn't your ship. This is all a holosensory simulation. We're still in the prison cell.
It's really quite clever. And because the Doctor and Peri get separated, one with the Empress and one with the guards, we get a look at 2 very different ends of society. The Empress is called Voltress, no relation, and she was played by Gemma Churchill, still no relation. You might have seen her in the 5-ish Doctors reboot, or in The Village of the Angels, where she died. All in all, a good, very simple story, though I have no idea what the title was about. Part 2 is Of Chaos Time The. It's a very, very, very simple story of the Doctor and Peri getting themselves involved in a situation and then fixing it. It's the sort of story that Who has done countless times before and can be told in 10 minutes, or over multiple hours, depending on the padding. The gimmick here, though, is that the situation includes the Doctor being blasted by pure time weirdness, and as a result, he's experiencing the adventure in a random order, and he kind of pieces it together along with the audience.
Running down a corridor, very familiar. But I've never met this woman before in all my lives. I should be with Peri. What's going on?
The launch chamber must be through here. We'll need to crack the security code.
Now, that's something I do know how to do.
The guards are getting closer! Quick!
Which makes it feel more original than it is, but at the same time means the story needs to be as distilled and basic as possible, so the audience can grasp it. It's the sort of setup that can get very complicated very fast. It's a very neat concept, but it doesn't quite stick the landing because at the same time it feels both too complicated and too simple. Honestly, I am kind of shocked that Moffat didn't try to do this idea. Seems like a no-brainer and a perfect vehicle for his love of complexity and pithy lines.
Is your time sickness cured?
Yes, I think so.
But how?
The huge amount of chronological energy I released when I dismantled the bomb trapped Warmer in a perpetual time loop. I, on the other hand, appear to have been cured by the same release of energy.
But wasn't that what caused your sickness?
It was. Both the cause and the cure. The same event, experienced twice, cancelled itself out. Oh, that's the fascinating thing about distorted chronologies. They throw up the most incredible paradoxes.
I think I sort of understand that.
Parts 3 and 4, though, where the collection really shines. Part 3 is An Eye for Murder. It's a women's college in England just before the outbreak of World War II, and someone is writing abusive poison pen letters to another member of staff, and it's up to Peri and Six to find out who's doing it. In a fun twist, Peri's been mistaken for a thriller novelist and Six is her assistant, because it's women's college and men are frowned upon, giving us a fun inversion of the usual setup.
Think of him as my assistant. He's a dab hand at typing.
Peri!
We kind of come as a package, Dr. Featherbridge.
Oh, very well. I suppose we can find a corner. But he's not to wander about, though.
You got that, Doctor? Don't go wandering off.
Think of this as a bit like Flatline, where the Doctor is sidelined to allow the companion the chance to shine. I really enjoyed it, though it felt longer than its 25 minutes. Not that I was bored or anything, it just felt larger than it is. And kinda wasted in a single 25-minute episode. This is one of the stories that could very easily be adapted into New Who. I could see 10 and Donna or 12 and Clara slipping into the roles perfectly. In fact, the more arrogant the Doctor, the better it works when he's sidelined for being a man.
And the wretched woman marched me back to my room and lurked outside until I started typing.
I wish I'd seen that. Which one was it?
That one, over there. Dalton. Thanks to whom I found out nothing more about these energy readings. I have, however, decided to write a novel. Only a minor one, but at least a novel.
And kind of ironically, this is one of the stories that flat out indicates that the Doctor's gender isn't as simple as it appears.
Of course we'll take the case.
Oh, great.
It's not usual, you know, to have men stay.
Oh, don't think of me as a man. Just the Doctor.
My dear man, we're all doctors.
Which makes sense. Hell, in one of the novels, 8 said that he's not sure he's ever been a man. Anyway, the cast are a vivid and interesting group, although it's not exactly hard to tell who's sending the letters. At only 25 minutes and chock full of vivid characters, there isn't that much space for mystery in this mystery. Cast-wise, we got a returning Gemma Churchill as Dr. Backhouse, and Janet Henfrey, a classic and New Who veteran, as Dr. Petherbridge.
My dear man, we're all doctors.
Oh, fun fact, this is one of the times when Six changes his look. He's wearing a London drape suit, which apparently looks like this.
I'll have you know, this London drape suit is the height of fashion. I could grow to like it.
Well, it makes a change from your usual explosion in a paint factory, I'll give you that.
Anyway, this was scripted by Una McCormack, a prolific sci-fi and fantasy author who usually works in pre-existing properties. She's written Doctor Who, Star Trek, Firefly, Blake 7. She's good. She should write more Doctor Who. Anyway, on to the fourth and best part, The Curious Incident of the Doctor in the Nighttime. Inspired by the play The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, based on the book of the same name. They even got Johnny Gibbon, who played the lead in the Plight, a star. Nev Fountain, who wrote the story, took his partner, Nicola Bryant, yes, that one, to see the play and was inspired to write the story, suggesting Johnny Gibbon basing his performance on stage. The main character is Michael, a young man who's on the spectrum. His father has recently died, and through impeccable, though very wrong logic, he's concluded that he's been transformed into a garden gnome.
I went into the garden and sat with the gnomes. And that is when I counted the gnomes. 129. When I was allowed back inside the house, my dad was putting his fishing clothes on with his rod and his silly hat and his wellies. My mum said,
"Where do you think you're going?"
The pub, obviously.
I suspected that he was not going to the pub at all. I suspected that he was going fishing on a boat in the sea with his mates my mum doesn't like. It was then I thought how like a gnome my dad looked, with his silly hat and his fishing rod and his big wellies, and I think that gave me a clue in solving the great mystery. And they put the gnomes in the back of their van very quickly, and I counted the gnomes, because I can't not count things, and there were 130. That was the great mystery.
Mum, where has Dad gone?
Michael, I'm afraid he's died.
Died?
He was on that dinghy in the papers. The one that tipped over.
Oh.
Are you all right, Michael? Do you want a hug?
No, thank you. That doesn't make sense, really. People don't die when you're not looking. I worked out which gnome was the 130th gnome. Dad never owned one with a silver cap and a necklace round his neck that flashed blue. I knew that there was only one logical explanation. My dad had been changed into a gnome.
It helps that all garden gnomes are imprisoned alien sociopaths dumped on Earth because our atmosphere freezes them in place.
Michael's gnome is in fact one of a number of killing machines made by the Galactic Coalition. It was decided that the gnomes, the genoi, were too dangerous, so they put them all here. The high ozone content of your atmosphere acts as a natural paralysing agent on the genoi. By putting them here, they were reasonably certain none would get off the planet and wreak havoc.
Oh, yeah, right.
But the leader of the genoi, Clen Gragan, invented a personal dampening field to counteract the effect. And now, he's returned to Earth to liberate his fellow gnomes.
Doctor Who gets weird sometimes. Anyway, the Doctor's investigating stuff and has a few run-ins with Michael, and they're all beautifully written and performed. They really demonstrate the similarities between the two of them. Not understanding social norms, falling afoul of rules they didn't know existed, an eye for detail and putting things together, that kind of thing.
Hello, young man. And what's your name?
Michael Andrew Jennings.
Well, Michael, I'm the Doctor, and this is my friend Peri.
Hi, Michael.
Hello, Peri. You have a boy's name.
Well, not exactly.
Yes, exactly. I know 2 boys called Peri, but no girls, so it is exactly a boy's name.
Very logical.
The Doctor, being an alien, isn't Spectrum, but he's very easily mistaken for it. Though I really feel this would have worked better with one of the more eccentric Doctors than 6, 2, 4, 7, or 11. Hell, this could easily be a Moffat or a Dr. Light story.
Madam, prepare yourself for a shock. Michael didn't tell anyone about the gnomes.
He didn't? How do you know?
We have reason to believe one of the gnomes informed on your husband.
What?
If you change your mind, we'll be inside the telephone box at the end of the road.
Why did you say that?
Why did I say what specifically?
You want me to be specific?
Yes?
Specifically, everything.
You're just like Michael.
What?
Am I right, Peri?
Sorry?
Your friend, the Doctor. He doesn't see the emotions beneath the surface.
Well, no. Not always. Sometimes.
What?
Has it not occurred to you, Doctor, that deep down he bought the gnome because he misses his dad?
He's solving a mystery and he wants...
And he just needs something to help him remember.
This was really excellent. I'm not Spectrum, so I really can't judge how well the subject matter was handled, but I thought it was great. If you're Spectrum and have heard this, I'd love to know what you think. Please tell me if I'm off base with this. It'll help me do better in future. Like I said earlier, this was written by Nev Fountain, Nicola Bryant's partner, and honestly, he's probably the best regular writer Big Finish has. He's had his flops, but no other Who writer has the same mix of cleverness, wit, imagination, and the ability to pull on the heartstrings and then deliver emotional gut punches. He's like Douglas Adams, if he can make you cry. This is just outstanding, excellently scripted and acted, with so many good scenes, but the standout is probably when the Doctor helps Michael work through his grief.
So I sat with the Doctor in the back garden and looked at the stars, and together we solved the greatest mystery of them all. I know my dad is dead. I understand that. But he went away as well. Dying is bad enough, but why did they go away as well? It doesn't make sense.
No.
That is what confused me. So, where is he? Just gone?
He is in what I consider to be a very special place.
Oh, please don't say heaven. Clouds are just evaporated water. I know this for a fact.
I was thinking of the past. Well, a lot of people think the past is a sad place, but I visit it a lot, and let me tell you, I find it just as exciting as the present and the future. Your father lives there now, and all the moments where he is a living, breathing, loving father are there too, all stored safely, and they will never go away.
Can I visit him? I'd like to see him again.
Of course you can, Michael. Anyone who can remember 130 gnomes can certainly visit him. Just close your eyes. Can you see him?
Oh, yes. Yes, I can. I can see him.
I told you. And you can visit the past just as easily as me, because, as we both know, you are a very special boy.
That is Six's answer to the scene where 2 talks to Victoria about missing his family. One of the all-time classic Doctor Who scenes.
You probably can't remember your family.
Oh yes, I can when I want to. And that's the point, really. I have to really want to bring them back in front of my eyes. The rest of the time, they sleep in my mind.
Anyway, this and An Eye for Murder more than justify buying this release. Both are just excellent. Now, Peri's next appearance in release order was Nev Fountain's The Widow's Assassin. One of the best Who stories of all time, but that's an older Peri rejoining the Doctor some years after the events of Trial of a Time Lord. And since I'm trying to keep this roughly chronological, I'm going to talk about it later on. The next young Peri appearance was Memories of a Tyrant, which is set in the space station dedicated to memory. You go there to unlock and relive viewers. They're there on the invitation of an old friend of the Doctor's, a Xylenoid, which makes her part amphibian and part tree.
To the delight of all right-minded life forms.
You make my gills blush. Hello, my dear.
Hello. Why does she have twigs sticking out of her body?
Shh, Peri. Well, that's because I'm a Xylenoid, and we're half amphibian, half plant.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude.
I kind of love how undefined she is, visually. All the random information reminds me of Star Trek Deep Space Nine's never-seen Lieutenant Vilix Pren, who just gets more complicated the more you hear about him.
Vilix Pren is budding. His buds are undergoing individuation in just over a month.
You mean he's pregnant?
Twins. Lieutenant Vilix Pren is budding again.
You're kidding. How many will this make?
Could be anywhere from 8 to 18.
I babysat Ensign Pran's hatchlings a couple of times. Made sure the little wings didn't get all tangled.
I love it when a sci-fi show does random, casual, off-screen world building. Anyway, the station is currently being used to try and unlock the memories of a man who might, or might not, be one of the worst criminals in galactic history. A guy with trillions of deaths in his hands. Think Space Hitler. Unfortunately, he can't remember if he's him.
Hello? We'll be done in a moment, Mr. Moreau.
It's hard to believe he could be a monster.
And he may not be. That is what the technicians here, led by Cerebro-Narus, are trying to ascertain.
Altrius got his scientists to develop an apocalypse device, and he used it to wipe out most of the life forms in the Gothrossa cluster.
Including everyone on his own planet.
He wiped out billions of people in the blink of an eye.
Altrius thought nothing of killing billions of people, didn't he? What if I am he? Are you scared?
We can stop at any time.
No, it might lead to something. I'll hear him out.
The feeling of power over others. Does that make me remember anything? People begging for mercy? Was it me on that balcony? Could I have activated the Apocalypse weapon?
I'm all in favor of you remembering, but this is a little creepy.
I remember the feeling of fear.
Well, that's just peachy.
If he is, then the Doctor's friend's gonna be his lawyer when they try him. The man was found in the guy's personal escape pod decades after his reign of terror ended, dressed in a maintenance uniform. The hypersleep had messed up, making him age as he slept and affecting his memory. The only known image of Space Hitler is blurry and they can't make a positive ID. And the busted pod suggests the possibility that a maintenance guy was working in there when he decided to take his chances and escape a purge. Or it could be the Tyrant of the title, trying to escape justice. We don't know, the people in the station don't know, Space Hitler doesn't know, and then the murders start.
All the saucepans are hanging up, some of them 2, 3 to a hook. Yeah. So I'm looking for the cupboard where they usually go. Aha! Oh dear.
Oh.
You see, also in the mix are an alien race who look up to Space Hitler because many of his victims were their mortal enemies. And there's also maybe survivors out for revenge. There's a lot of intrigue. This sounds like a great setup for a story, but partway through it just starts taking wrong turns and drives headlong into a wall, clearly labelled, "What the fuck?" Allow me to explain. There will be spoilers. Peri undergoes some memory stuff, unlocking some memories from her childhood.
I don't actually remember this.
It's a forgotten memory, if that makes any kind of sense. Sort of below the surface from your recall, but it's there. Just needs finding.
Like a file on a computer. That's what the doctor said. Look! I'm running towards my parents' bedroom.
And then Lanzarote, where she first met the Doctor.
And what's with the music?
The machine matches the music to how the memory makes you feel. Where are we now?
Lanzarote.
He was Peter Davison at the time. And she identifies him as the Doctor.
This was just after I met the doctor. Look, it's changing. There's the doctor. Not as he is now, of course.
What do you mean?
And there's the doctor later on, as he is now.
You seem good friends. You obviously trust him totally.
Sorry, but I gotta spoil this to properly talk about the story. The killer decides to create evidence that the Doctor is actually Space Hitler.
Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer sind Sie, dass Sie es wagen, sich meinen Befehl zu widersetzen?
Oh, there have been times when I've done some terrible things. Well, what was I supposed to do? They cornered me, and they were about to depose me, so what I was doing was just self-preservation. That's why I activated the Apocalypse device.
No, that's not true.
I'm afraid it is true, my dear. I am Altrius of Kelphus IV, and I'm responsible for the deaths of billions of people.
To be honest, Space Hitler's probably got a smaller death toll than the Doctor. Anyway, rather than have it be the Doctor in another incarnation, 5, say, or even better, a future one, they implant memories of 6 being Space Hitler into him and everyone else, except Peri. And he places a memory into the guy who might be Space Hitler that the Doctor, as Space Hitler, murdered Peri in the past, even though she's still alive.
You must try to stand up. I don't know if I can. He's coming.
She looks just like me. But it isn't me, just someone who looks like me.
Try and stand behind me. I'll prop you until he's passed by.
And that man in the shadows.
Altrius of Kelphus IV. Please, Your Excellency, she's weak. She'll be all right to continue work in a moment, sir.
I need to rest.
He killed me! Her! In cold blood!
Which means, for this to work, the Doctor has to have been 6 before he was 5, kill Peri, become 5, then start travelling with Peri, die, and become 6 again.
Everybody got that?
And on top of that, hey, this distinctive-looking Time Lord who spent years being a Time Lord with Peri is actually a non-Time Lord Space Hitler. And we know that because Peri was his slave, even though she says she wasn't his slave, and he's not Space Hitler. Plus, the Doctor arrived at the station not because he was going to be put on trial, But to visit an old friend of his. He wasn't brought by the police. He landed his TARDIS and wandered around. You have records of this.
Not a great plan.
Frankly, I am shocked that it took as long as it did for this ruse to fall apart. And it mostly falls apart because the Doctor's real memories start to resurface as the evil memories degrade, instead of Peri explaining the many obvious flaws with this version of events. And apart from that, the second they contact the outside world, they will discover that the evidence does not line up with the Doctor being Space Hitler. Then they'd hopefully put two and two together and remember that, hey, we're on a space station that specializes in viewing and altering memory. Huh. What are the chances? This plan is next level deranged. It is almost worthy of mid-80s TV Who. But we do get some hilarious scenes of Colin Baker as the Doctor in prison, thinking he's Space Hitler, threatening violence and starting his own criminal gang. So there is that.
Right, 3 cards each. We're playing Sontaran Snap. Aces are high, and 2 is the death card. If you get 2 picture cards, and the player on your right has a 4, you can cut his arm off. Everyone clear? Right. You know, whatever your name is, my memories of the good times are all that's keeping me going. The death squads, the hanging garden, poisoning my 4th wife, the hedonistic parties. Oh, happy days. Ugh. This tastes truly disgusting. Someone is going to pay.
The performance kind of reminded me of Colin Baker and Blake Seven playing lost Judas Priest member Baban the Butcher. You'll thank me for this.
Baban the Berserker? Baban the Butcher?
Baban the Butcher. You're Baban the Butcher? Oh no.
That's better. If Villa and Carol are not found and brought here to me, you will be the first to die.
You bubble-brained idiot!
You stupid son of a slime crawler.
It wasn't my fault, Captain.
It wasn't my fault, Captain. Smile. You outlived him.
What?
Oh, we couldn't let them go back empty-handed, could we? So we gave him a bomb to play with.
A bomb?
Yes. Bang. You're dead. Babes used to say, treat every hour as though it's your last. I'll be back in an hour, Villa. Now go and kick some life into the others. But he's still got legs to kick with.
Another issue with this is that it plays with the post-World War II trope of the possible war criminal with scant evidence. Deep Space Nine used it to great effect in Duet, even down to the single image idea. But ultimately, this sort of plot is very hard to pull off in sci-fi. The idea that the leader of a galactic empire, famous not only in his own world, but others as well, would only have one known image is just silly. It's sci-fi. Not only photos will be ubiquitous, but video, audio recordings. Hell, they'd have his DNA and records somewhere. Maybe his brainwaves. Setting this sort of plot in the future requires careful scripting and world building, and this didn't have that. Anyway, this is good. It's a compelling concept, there's a bunch of good ideas here, but at the same time, it is really fucking stupid. You'll enjoy yourself as long as you delete large parts of your memory as you go. Peri's next appearance was Emissary of the Daleks, another story from Andrew Smith of the Brood of Eris. It was actually recorded before Memories of the Tyrant. I know this because the making of includes a discussion about how this is the first main range release Colin and Nicola Bryant have done in 5 years.
It's a well-known saying, which I've always thought was a load of rubbish, but time does go quicker as you get older. And I hadn't realised until we spoke yesterday that it's 5 years since I did a main range story with Nicola, which is extraordinary. I suppose because I see her quite a lot at other events that I assumed I was doing these stories with her.
It's the planet Omnia, a small, out-of-the-way planet that the Doctor's never visited before. In fact, it's so out the way that the stars are barely visible in the sky.
I appreciate a walk in the fresh air, Doctor.
Bracing, isn't it?
But, couldn't we have landed on the daylight side of the planet?
Oh, but the nighttime is instructive, Peri. Look up. What do you see?
Stars, I guess.
Yep.
Oh. Are there any?
Mm.
Hey, I see one, I think. There. And Is that another?
Well done. They're only just visible to the naked eye.
That's not got much to do with anything, but it is a neat change that makes the place feel unique. Omnia has been conquered by the Daleks. They pretty much can't set tentacle on the planet, though, because it's kind of lethal to them. So they rule through a puppet dictatorship run by Carmen Rega, the emissary of the Daleks.
Someone's coming. It's Rega.
Who?
Carmen Rega, the Magister.
Oh.
An off-worlder from your bio readout, yes?
Quite so. I'm the Doctor.
Off-worlders are rare on Omnia.
And yet your world is enslaved by some of them.
She's played by Saskia Reeves, who you might remember as Lady Jessica in the early 2000s Dune miniseries. This does something a little more complicated than most Doctor Who stories about conquest. It shows it from the Kisling's point of view. Rega was enslaved and tortured by the Daleks and doesn't want the job as emissary, but she does it to try and save as many of her people as she can.
The Daleks' idea of clemency was to let me live, but on a slave planet. 6 months I was there. I was lucky to survive. I still have the scars.
So how did you end up back here?
One day I was taken out of the slave pit, given medical treatment, and taken to the Dalek Supreme. He told me I was going to be his emissary on Omnia, and run the planet with a token squad of Daleks. If I didn't ensure total obedience to Dalek rule, then Omnia would become a replica of the hell I had spent the last months in. I took up my position as Magister, and initiated a system of governance that lets most of my people live their lives in relative freedom. At the same time, I have to exercise zero tolerance for any show of resistance towards the Daleks.
Zero tolerance? Oh, Carmen.
If I wasn't ruthless in crushing defiance of the Daleks, their reprisals would be far more terrible.
And she knows there's no good way out for her. Eventually, if the Daleks don't kill her, her own people will, and she accepts that, because she can't see another way to save her people. It's all very deliberately grey, except her scenes with the Daleks. Those are gloriously technicolor bitching.
What were the intentions of the intruders?
Unknown at this time. The prisoners are being brought here for interrogation.
How were they able to penetrate the perimeter?
It appears one of them had a key, stolen or cloned. If there have been lapses of security by my people, they shall suffer the consequences.
This was not the first intrusion into the quadrant today.
I beg your pardon?
We monitor all communications. There was an earlier incursion by a young male. He was not apprehended at that time.
That's right, he wasn't.
Why?
I don't expect my decisions to be questioned in this way.
Answer!
He stayed a short time, then left. I thought he might return with others, and we would then snare more resistant scum in our net.
You could not know that he would return?
Listen, Daleks. I know it's a difficult concept for you to grasp, but there's a thing called instinct. And my instinct was that this enemy of the Dalek Order would return with his confederates. I was correct. Now, if you don't need me for anything further, I shall see to my prisoners.
And yes, that is a Peter Cushing movie-style Dalek Supreme, also seen in Planet of the Daleks. Another element that is fairly unique is cultural. The planet's art and culture has been destroyed. Writing is banned. It's a deliberate reference to Pol Pot's Cambodia.
The inscriptions have been removed.
Of course. It is not allowed. Writing of any kind is forbidden, as reading is forbidden.
Reading? Writing and reading forbidden? Well, I don't like the sound of that. Not at all.
That is part of the law. The first day of occupation of the new Omnia was designated Day 1, Year 1. Omnia's previous history was eradicated. It's forbidden to read or speak of it.
And the nascent rebellion is mostly formed around people memorising and reciting pre-invasion texts.
And Tasha, I want to thank you for joining us today.
That's all right.
Truth speakers get their name because not only have they memorised our texts, they can recite them. And that's what Tasha's going to do for us. I expect you've done truth speaking to a few resistance groups. Have you, Tasha?
I can't really talk about that. Sorry.
Oh, no, I shouldn't have asked. Now, shall we begin? Tasha will recite The Rise of the Omnian Empire by the noted historian Alfred Killian.
Seriously?
Miss Peri?
We're here for a recital? You call that resistance?
But frankly, yes.
So why did the Daleks come all the way to the edge of this galaxy and invade this tiny planet that can kill them? Because Omnia is plentiful and an extremely rare mineral that they use in their tech. The concentration of the mineral on the planet is so much that it kills them. All in all, this is pretty much a standard Dalek invasion story. And the sympathetic glimpse of a dictator would be interesting if Memories of a Tyrant wasn't released right next to it, and Breaking Bubbles didn't also do that, and later on we didn't have Plight of the Pimpernel. Now all of these are very different takes, and Memory of the Tyrant is sympathetic to the man who might or might not be the dictator, but these are still broad variations in a theme, almost on top of each other. And I've skipped it for now, but The Widow's Assassin features Peri as a benevolent dictator. It's like Big Finish briefly went through an authoritarian phase. But like I said, these were recorded years apart, and it's just a weird concentration, because I've grouped the 6 and Peri stories together in pretty much release order. But still, I hope someone, character or actor, got deja vu at some point. Anyway, this is standard Dalek stuff. They yell, they kill, they subjugate. The victims rebel, they cower, some collaborate, and a lot of both sides die. If you like the Daleks, this is perfect for you. I'm kind of lukewarm on them personally. So while this isn't bad, it's not my favourite release. But I did like this cameo from the Special Weapons Dalek.
A Dalek? Is it?
Keep walking! Keep walking!
It's the strangest Dalek I ever saw.
Well, the casing is far bulkier than normal. And the head section is entirely enclosed.
What is it?
Armour? I don't see why it would need extra armour for mine work.
They mention that these larger Daleks have been specially adapted to survive in the mine. So I could be wrong, but I think this might be the origin of the Special Weapons Dalek, aka the best kind of Dalek. Anyway, Peri's next appearance has a bit of a twist near the end that I won't spoil here. It's World War I, the Central Powers are get a hold of some alien tech, and the Doctor needs his old friend Harry Houdini's help in getting it back.
What are you doing? I didn't signal for assistance. Let go of me. Harry, no, get out of here before the audience sees you. Who are you anyway? I haven't seen your face around here before. Oh,
I need help, Harry. Of the sort that only the world's greatest escape artist can provide. Hold your feet still, can't you? I'm trying to unlock these stocks.
It is you, isn't it, Doctor?
Oh, who else?
Houdini's been mentioned a few times as an old acquaintance of the Doctor's, most recently in the church on Ruby Road.
I spent a long, hot summer with Harry Houdini.
But it dates back to the Pertwee era.
What are you trying to do? Compress the muscles. It's a little trick I learned from an old friend of mine, Harry, Houdini.
We don't get any clues in the TV stories about which Doctor met him, but since Pertwee was the first time it was mentioned, and Gatwa intimated it was a sex thing,
I spent a long, hot summer with Harry Houdini.
I'm going to assume it was 2. Guy's going to use some tricks on Jamie. I gotta say, I'm not in love with the Houdini Doctor insinuation. I really feel there's enough historical figures who were queer, or rumoured to be queer, without trying to retcon random, apparently straight people. And then, years later, they do the same thing with Marco Polo in The Cosmos and Mrs. Clark. Stop it! Weirdly, this story, done in 2019, kinda predicts the Gatwa line, because this kinda sounds romantic.
I do, by the way.
What?
I want to do this again. Even though I'm not sure what this is half the time. You and me, Doctor, saving the world together. I'm not too old for that yet.
Even after everything I put you through? Even after you thought you might die?
What else makes life worth living?
Huh.
Till next time, then.
Count on it.
Anyway, in the expanded universe, it was decided that several Doctors met Houdini, and not always in the right order. The same writer, Steve Lyons, had earlier scripted a 5th Doctor and Houdini story, an audio for the BBC, though that's set years after this one. The original actor, Tim Beckman, had returned to Canada by the time they made this, so they recast with John Schwab, who was in Dalek with Christopher Eccleston. Schwab mostly avoids the American character in Doctor Who curse of sounding like they were trying to eat their own dialogue.
You aren't seriously thinking of taking one of those
biplanes.
See that? Proof that beauty can come from even the Kaiser's factories. And just sitting there unattended, waiting to take us on the ride of our lives.
Mostly, which is better than I manage. But I'm actually being American, probably helped with that. Anyway, this is a globe-trotting adventure, complete with thrills worthy of Houdini's stage act, and action scenes worthy of his films. Yeah, Harry Houdini made some films. Did his own stunts and all. That's what I'm using for footage right now. And most of this isn't even special effects. He was just a mad, talented guy. And is there escapology? Oh yes, there is, because Steve Lyons knows his Houdini. I'm trying not to spoil much because there are twists, turns, secret motivations, and even the occasional bit of timey-wiminess. It's really better to go into it mostly blind, but I will reveal some stuff. The villains are kind of cliche. They're mostly spies and military types working for the Central Powers, because World War I. The only interesting military villain is an officer who's convinced that Houdini did his tricks with magic powers.
I shackled him myself, before the national press. The locks were the most robust created by German engineering. Tested thoroughly. I had the springs tightened. No man could have opened those cuffs.
And yet...
Hardly had I glanced their way when they clattered to the floor. I could feel the crowd's eyes upon me. Reporters, peers, subordinates, strangers. They questioned my competence. Worse, even, my integrity.
Many people believe that Houdini has genuine powers.
A charge he vehemently denies. But then, what stage magician confesses to being a trickster?
Quite so, Doctor.
He's not the only person who thought that. Arthur Conan Doyle, author of Sherlock Holmes, and Houdini were friends, until Doyle got very into spiritualism and believing in fairies and stuff. You see, Houdini was an arch skeptic and their friendship broke down. And Doyle apparently became convinced that Houdini was a fraud. Not in any logical way, but because Houdini claimed he was doing his tricks using skill, when according to Doyle, he was actually using real magical powers. Conan Doyle was a weird guy. Anyway, the other interesting villain is Helen Smith, a German-American who got so tired of anti-German bigotry, and with the war, the threat of internment, that she became a spy.
I emigrated with my husband in the 80s. Even then, Frau Helga Schmidt was viewed with suspicion. Life was easier for Mrs. Helen Smith.
Then war broke out.
Can you imagine what it's like to become an enemy alien in your own home? My husband must report his every move to the Department of Justice. The slightest mistake, and they'll bury us forever in a squalid internment camp.
When, of course, you're a perfectly law-abiding citizen.
America shipped arms to the Allied powers for years. Now, they wage war on my homeland directly. They made an enemy of me, so why shouldn't I act the part?
Another thing to listen out for is Six going full 7, manipulating his friends like they were chess pieces, fake betrayal, not filling people in his plans, merely skirting around immorality, having a larger viewpoint. He goes so full 7 that I would not be surprised to find out that this was originally written for him and got rewritten for sex.
I still say this is a bad idea. The doctor probably has a plan.
Well, the doctor betrayed me, Miss Brown. You too. I would have gotten you out of that warehouse. Forgive me if I don't wait on the doctor's approval.
I don't blame you for feeling that way. I just think...
How long have you known him? Climbing through the warehouse window?
Loose lips might sink ships.
After all we've been through together, the Ovids, the Kleptons, I saved you from a Salatian mind bomb. You could have trusted me, Doctor.
Could I?
But I've not read anything that will confirm that. This is a fun romp, not too dark, but it's got twists and includes a lot of historical minutiae. Not an A-list Doctor Who story, but really enjoyable. And Nicola Bryant gets to do something slightly different, which is always fun. After Harry Houdini's war, Peri turned up in Nev Fountain's Blood on Santa's Claw, but I'm not covering that yet. It introduces a new companion, the singer Joe Carnaby, and I'll be talking about it in a video about short-lived companions. Peri's next appearance was her last in the main range, the original Classic Who range that ended in 2021, and it was Plight of the Pimpernel. She and Six are helping out the Scarlet Pimpernel, a British aristocrat, who took it upon himself to rescue French nobility from the guillotine in revolutionary France, the Doctor's favourite period in history.
Now wait a minute. The doctor's put us down right in the middle of the French Revolution.
We might not get back to the ship if Grandfather hears we're in the Reign of Terror.
Why not?
It's his favourite period in the history of Earth.
The only problems with the Doctor and Peri helping out the Pimpernel are A. The Scarlet Pimpernel is a fictional character.
The Scarlet Pimpernel and his alter ego, the poppish Sir Percy Blakeney, I adore them both. But they are creations of the novelist Baroness Orksey. So how are they both bedbound in the east wing of this stately home?
B. The Pimpernel is a wound that can only be a result of an alien weapon.
Who attacked you?
I told you all I know. A French bandit on the road. Where he hailed from is his own business.
He attacked you with a high-caliber alien plasma weapon. And you seem remarkably nonchalant about that for a man of your time.
And C. There's a robot from the future hunting him down.
We'll be at the wake of the Scarlet.
Positive recognition. Scarlet Pimpernel. Justice will be done.
This is a tale of two halves. The first one is a light, swashbuckling adventure, and the second is much more complex and veers deeply into morality, redemption, shocking twists, the limits of friendship, and utter bleakness. Whatever you think is going on at the start of this, you're probably going to be wrong. I really don't want to spoil any of this, just listen to it. This is by Chris Chapman, who also wrote Scorched Earth, and he clearly has a thing for morally ambiguous historicals. Anyway, not spoiling stuff, so here's some fun facts. This was suggested by Colin Baker. He wanted the Doctor to become the Scarlet Pimpernel, which he does, briefly.
You are here to rescue us, in a coffin.
Correct. Your alternative is the sharp embrace of Madame la Guillotine.
You're him, aren't you?
Oh, him? Yeah, well, yes, I suppose I am, yeah. You are currently being rescued by the Scarlet Pimpernel. I must say, it's always been a little fantasy of mine to play the part.
Early on, we get a sign that, like 11, 6 can talk horse.
No, he isn't. What? I speak horse. He's called Susan.
Thank you, Queenie. Here, have a carrot. No, I agree. This is not a pretty sight.
The cover depicts a destroyed alien world, which kinda looks like the Hiroshima Peace Memorial. Don't know if that's deliberate, but if it is, it's kinda fucked up. We get the great sound of Nicola Bryant playing Peri doing an English accent, which is hilarious.
Lady Blakeney! Lady Blakeney!
Please, Nancy, count to 5 and then tell me what's wrong.
Yes, milady. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're all right now. Don't worry about 5. What is it?
It's the musicians, milady. I've heard from the village that our 2 violinists have come down with an awful flu.
Well, then we'll have to cope without violins. Plenty of instruments left.
Milady.
We get a top tier bit of pissed off Doctor action partway through.
You're upset. This isn't like you.
Oh, I'm not so sure that's true. I can be quite furious when I want to be, and right now I am feeling a little more than angry, a little more than livid.
What are you doing? What are you going to do?
I'm going to try and obtain the truth. The actual truth. That shouldn't be too much to ask.
And that's all?
I can't promise.
Doctor!
And finally, we usually get very few clues about the exact order these releases happen in, just references to other events, or maybe they lead into each other. But based on the cover, Peri's haircut in particular, it seems to be very late in her initial travels. That's her Trial of a Time Lord haircut. All in all, this is great, full of legit surprises, and an incredible mix of old school adventuring and serious bleakness. It's like The Princess Bride turned into a Holocaust film partway through. Not for everyone, but, hopefully it's for you. And that's where I think I'm going to end it, with the end of Peri's adventures in the main range. At some point afterwards, we have the Trial of a Time Lord and Peri leaving. So part 3 will pick up with the Widow's Assassin and Peri's return to the TARDIS. But this video is a little bit short, and Big Finish isn't the only game in town. So here's a quick look at Trouble in Paradise, released by the BBC. This was done as part of the 2013 50th anniversary celebrations. This is Destiny the Doctor. Basically, every Doctor got an audio story linked by a larger plot involving 11, the then incumbent doing something or other. I've not listened to many of the others, but in this, 11's looking for an Omni paradox, a powerful glowy thing. The 5 adventure with Harry Houdini was another part of the same series. This isn't an audio drama as much as an audiobook, with Nicola Bryant narrating and playing Peri and the Doctor, and Cameron Stewart playing some other parts. It's 1492 and the TARDIS materializes inside the Santa Maria, and they get involved in the quote-unquote discovery of America. And it pains me to say this because Nev Fountain wrote it, but this is kinda crap. A lot of the problems come from it sounding distinctly juvenile in tone and writing.
There was a very odd noise in the TARDIS. Peri instinctively backed away from the controls. Is it supposed to make a noise like that? The Doctor put his hands on his hips, showing the lurid lining of his lurid coat. Not really, no. It sounds like a stray sub-ether signal overloading the interstitial buffers. Peri pulled a face. And that means? Honestly, Peri, he snapped. If you can't understand plain English, then I really can't help you.
Though because it was put out with the BBC, it's probably literally intended for kids. So, how kiddie is it? Well, Christopher Columbus is basically a kids' TV character.
The Journal of Admiral Christopher Columbus, greatest explorer in the world, 12th of October, 1492. It was only a few hours since my historic discovery of this virgin land that we made first contact with the natives. They certainly are exotic. The man is dressed in every colour of the rainbow, so clearly he is an important member of their tribe, a chieftain or a high priest, perhaps. The woman is practically naked, so I assume she's meant to be an offering of some sort, because they obviously worship us.
And the villain is an alien buffalo.
I will render her and use her fatty deposits to power my fusion reactor.
The Doctor sniffed, unimpressed. I'm afraid you'll have to get up earlier in the morning to threaten my heifer's fatty deposits.
But at the same time, it does touch on witty stuff. Quite interestingly, about the Doctor loving celebrities, regardless of the body count. The exact thing I was talking about in my perfect parody video. Peri even calls him out in it directly.
I can't believe it! Oh, Christopher Columbus! As I live and breathe, what a stroke of luck! Huh, if you can call it that. The Doctor's eyes bulged in astonishment. The man was a monster! Perhaps we won't stay for dinner, then. The Doctor made his comment with such a look of pouting disappointment that Peri had to laugh. Doctor, you're incorrigible. You hop around time and treat it like some kindergarten history book with color pictures and big typeface, and you never stop long enough to get onto the second page. You always bump into the big celebrities. George Stephenson, H.G. Wells, Richard III. We never seem to have tea with the little guys in history.
I had a hell of a time trying to place this story until this exchange. Then I realized it makes no sense whatsoever. It's clearly early 6, but by the 2 Doctors, the Doctor already knew Columbus.
Archimedes. Fascinating chap, bit wet. Brunel, Christopher Columbus. He had a lot to answer for.
But Peri mentioning H.G. Wells and George Stephenson puts it after Mark the Rani and Time Lash, when Time Lash was after the 2 Doctors. So, using my cannon-wielding brain, I'm gonna guess that Six and Peri met themselves from their future. Not too much, say 2 weeks, a month, relative time, something like that. And then they accidentally swap Peri's, so at this point in their timelines, Peri's already been through Time Lash, but the Doctor hasn't. Anyway, this is a wonderful bit with Nicola Bryant playing 11. It is quite glorious. I approve of 11's love for the code.
An image appeared of a square-jawed man with an unruly shock of brown hair, a tweed jacket and a bow tie. Peri thought he resembled what the Doctor's son might look like, if the Doctor had ever shown any inclination to settle down and raise a family.
Hello there, Doctor! It's me! Another Doctor! What are the chances, eh? Now, if my calculations are correct, then I'm talking to the one who has an incredibly fantastic coat. Now, I'm a future version of you. Nowhere near as cool as you, granted, but I'm working on it. I've got a fez now. I know it's not a coat, but at least it's a fez. Good luck, Doctor, and try not to get killed, or if you must get killed, get someone to send me the coat.
And what is the alien buffalo doing? Well, he's connected to the Earth buffalo, and they're slowly being driven to extinction by Native Americans, so he's trying to save them by bringing Columbus to the Americas.
They will bring the herd to extinction if they are not stopped.
Because white people will genocide the Native Americans and not hurt the buffalo.
They will replace those natives. They have their own technologies, their own cloths and meats. They will not need to destroy the herd.
I know I used this before, but...
Not a great plan.
The upshot at the end is that Peri is eventually directly responsible for European colonization of the Americas.
Peri thought about this. So, really, me, my America, and everything I know, none of it should exist in the first place. Exactly, the doctor smiled. And you should allow yourself a brief pat on the back for creating your home country. So, next time I have an argument with my mom, we can both say, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here.
She sounds unexpectedly okay with that after talking about all the horrific stuff that Columbus did. But like I said, this is not a good story. But still, I did like Nettie. Who's Nettie? A goat who eats a TARDIS key, so the doctor brings him on board.
But there was a strange noise coming from the other side of the room. Doctor, you brought a goat into the TARDIS. The doctor grinned, gasping for breath. Peri, you have to understand. I thought I had lost you. I had to find a new companion from somewhere. And Nettie seemed to fit the bill. Noisy, angry, eats anything, always butting heads.
So yeah, not the best. All of Fountain's other stuff is far better. Anyway, back to Big Finish. There are no complete disasters here. Though Trouble in Paradise would do a good impersonation of one if it was Big Finish. Memories of a Tyrant falls apart in an entertaining way. Emissary of the Daleks is solid. Half of Breaking Bubbles is great. Harry Houdini's War is great. And Plight of the Pimpernel is nearly a classic. Just a very solid run. And if you want suggestions for how best to get cheap copies of all these, alas, all of them, except Trouble in Paradise, are going to be expensive, unless you find a good deal second-hand, or a sale on the Big Finish website. Trouble in Paradise, in my experience, can usually be found pretty cheap. Oh, and, looking at my remaining page count, and the fact that another Peri box set is coming out in August, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a fourth part to this, before I move on to Mel. Hopefully not a fifth, but we'll see. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please give me a like, a subscribe, hit some sort of bell, whatever you feel like, and tell me how much you agree with me, or disagree, or tell me what I'm doing wrong. Although, you know, audio terribleness, we'll take that. Part is red. I try. Whatever you want to tell me, YouTube likes it when you feed the algorithm based. Tell me a good name for a cat. 6 likes cats. That's thematic. And if you'd like to help me afford more Big Finish to keep doing this sort of thing, oh god, they're so expensive, please consider joining up on the Patreon. There's even rewards to be had. If you've only got a few coppers, I've got a Ko-fi, and if you want a badass shirt, check out the Redbubble. Or just keep watching and being fantastic.
One world's very like another. Even Earth's got mysteries to uncover. It's a mob, it's a riot, they're causing a commotion. Gotta help George Stevenson do the locomotion. What do you mean? You meet one amoral renegade time lady.
That's me, am I okay? Gonna end up in an underground souffle.
This pains me to say aloud, but I'm dripping sweat from my noble brow.
This is part 2. Oh man, I missed a trick by not making a Peri joke.